Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the Audi S5. This is to open the boot of the vehicle. This is to unlock the car. This is to lock the car, and obviously Audi logo on the key. The key looks quite nice, but chintu mintu. Now this is the facelifted S5. Straight away we are going to be opening the engine bay of this vehicle, which means there's some amount of effort which needs to be put, and yeah, there it is. It's heavy initially, but then it kind of becomes lightened up because of the hydraulic struts. There's insulation right there. The engine bay looks really clean. You can see the blue coloring on the inside as well, and there are red inserts on the engine cover. I don't know for what. And of course the Audi logo there as well. Let's do one thing. Let's shut this right away. And can you actually notice the difference in the facelifted model of the S5? This is the second generation, of course. Now the S5 is actually based on the A5, and the A5 is the Sportback version of the A4. So that's how it is. And Audi, credit to them for actually starting this segment in India with the S4 back in 2012. In fact, I had driven it and had a ball of a time. Now you can see the grille has these studs, no slats as such. There's a provision for a front parking camera, or maybe that is for the parking sensors. Actually, yeah, parking sensors everywhere on this vehicle. Grille is really big and nice and bold, and there's the Audi logo. It says S5 right there. Now this is the towing hook of the vehicle, and this is a dummy unit probably for ADAS because that's plastic. It gets headlight washers. Of course, Audi is still doing headlight washers, which is a good thing. The lights get some revision. This lash is beautiful for the DRL, and of course the lights are also stunning at night. In fact, there's the Audi logo as well, so good amount of attention to detail. Now this obviously converts into the indicator as well, which you can see on the other side, and it gets the dynamic swipe indicators, which look very nice indeed. Look at them, fantastic. Now this is the turbo blue color, which obviously looks pretty awesome, and the car looks definitely better than the M340i, its chief rival in India, and it also competes with the C43 AMG. You can see really very elegant sportback design because it's a coupe. The wheels are really nice on this car. You know why? The tire profile is chintu mintu. 35 profile tires. Oh my god, that's really dangerous. 255, 35, 19 is the size of the tires. Alloy wheel design could be a little bit more adventurous, sort of finished in grey, and you get S badging on the red colored brake calipers, of course. So like I was telling you, 255, 35, 19 is the size of the tires. 19 inches on this car, really massive as such. Okay, says S5 right here, and this sort of a silver finish looks nice, and obviously silver colored outside rear view mirrors because that's a typical S trait. In fact, at night when you unlock the car, there is some light which comes out from the door handles. Unfortunately though, it does not get keyless entry, so you have to actually press the button to unlock the car. Design is really awesome. I love it. I definitely like it more than the M340i. Anyways, I'm just putting the fingers of truth back in my pocket because this car does not support the fingers of truth because it gets quad exhaust, and you know what? All of them are bloody functional. So if I even come close, there you can see it is spewing out a lot of stuff because real exhaust for the win. Thank God for that. Gets a sort of a diffuser treatment as well. Yeah, you can see the exhausts are actually functional, which is a nice thing. No fake stuff. Thank you, Audi. Thank you so much. Rear parking sensors. There's a reverse parking camera right there. Says S5 right here. There's the Audi logo. Sort of a small lip spoiler as well. Dynamic swipe indicators look really very nice, and this is actually the rear fog light. Meanwhile, let me show you the lights. They look beautiful at night. In fact, the attention to detail is amazing. There's the Audi logo on the inside as well. Now here's the problem. I tried to open the boot. Okay, the car is unlocked. The boot won't open. It will not open with the key either, which means that I have to go on the inside and then unlock. That's kind of weird. I mean, I did not expect that to happen. So I'm just going to do one thing. I'm just going to press this button here, and there it opens. Okay, of course it opens with the windscreen of the car because it is a sportback design. But hey, the Skoda Octavia is not called a sportback, but gets something very similar. It doesn't get a coupe roof though. So this is the parcel shelf, which I think can be opened or closed or pushed back. No, that's about it. And the boot is actually big enough. It gets this net here. There's another net here. This can be opened. There's the first aid kit. There's storage for bottles. There's more storage. I mean, you can just ensure you keep everything properly. Let's do one thing. Let's try and open this as well. Yeah, there happens to be the toolkit of the vehicle. How will we see what is the spare wheel? We have to open this, and now we shall open to see that the spare wheel is not an alloy. In fact, it is a smaller size tire. 125, 70, 19 is the size of the tire, which is kind of chintu mintu. There is light here as well, and there is a hook too. So practical bits in the boot to ensure that you can carry all your stuff without any issue. There's a light placement here. You press this button and there the boot closes because obviously it gets a powered tailgate, and there's a shark fin sort of an antenna. Oh my god, it clicked something. It did not close. So let me go and press this again. Please close. Okay, now it's going to open. This car's boot is in a mind of its own. I don't know what it's up to. So I was telling you about the shark fin antenna, which is also finished in gloss black. Yeah, gloss black. This shut. Turbo blue color looks absolutely phenomenal. I love it. Let's open the rear door. First and foremost, it gets frameless windows, but the rear window does not go all the way down, which is kind of disappointing. And you can see the color treatment is sort of grey inside, and there's Alcantara on the door pads. And this is the ambient light, which is nice and tasteful, better than BMW for sure. Door pockets are actually big enough. Here you don't get anything written, but you get it on the front seats. And these are the seats which are extremely comfortable. Let's step inside. Because this is based on the A4, there isn't like acres of legroom and knee room, but there's decent amount of legroom and knee room. But under that support is not the best, which you can see. Scooped out seat backs, magazine holders. Headroom is just about adequate actually. The roofline is sloping, so that's a bit of an issue. There is a hook and a handle. Height adjustable seat belts as well. There's another hook here. Okay, it gets twin AC vents at the rear along with a 12 volt charging socket. Maybe there could be a USB here instead. And obviously you've got rear AC vents because this gets a 3-zone climate control air conditioning system. Now the seats are good. Okay, recline angle could be slightly better. And here you get a center armrest with, it has this cup holder on both the sides which open individually, which is nice. And the center passenger also gets a head. So 3 adjustable headrests as well. And there's light placement on the top too, which is a nice touch. So I think the rear is fine. It's not really very practical because of the smaller windows, sloping roofline. Kind of feels a little claustrophobic, but then this is not about the rear seat. If you're looking for rear seat experience, opt for the A6 and not for the S5. Now I know Audi doesn't offer us the S6 in India. Now the seats are a mix of Alcantara as well as leather and I think this is what, fabric probably, I don't know, but they really get dirty and soiled very fast indeed. That is the dashboard design of the vehicle. Looks kind of old, but still very tasteful because of that aluminium insert in the center, that silver aluminium. It looks beautiful, tasteful stuff inside this car. Let's get out. Okay, you have to actually clamber out of the vehicle because it's not easy to get in and out. That's a bit of an issue. And here we're going to shut the door. Yeah, build quality is obviously fantastic. Overall quality of this car is also very good indeed. At the end of the day, it's an Audi. Let me show you the rear wheels from below because these are massive. Look at the size of the tires. That's absolutely crazy. Same size, 255, 35, 19. Nothing has changed there. The red colored brake caliper is there for the rear as well. Okay, let's get inside. This car heats a lot, okay? It heats a lot. I can feel the heat. It's absolutely crazy. This lights up at night. It says S right there. Actually, this lights up at night. A lot of lighting stuff happening here and there. Now, let's do one thing. Let's open the window. Of course, one touch up and down. Memory seats for the driver, not for the co-driver. Although there's a provision, but there are no buttons there. Lock and unlock the vehicle. This is to open the boot of the car. And there is some storage space here. Not the best, but decent size. These are the controls for the power window. This is for the outside rear view mirror adjustment. With the window down, it looks fantastic because of the frameless doors or frameless windows or whatever you want to call it. Look at that. It looks so freaking sports car-like. I definitely like it, and there are sensors there in the center. I don't know if you can see it right above the fast tag. That is actually for the automatic wipers, I believe. Now let's get inside. Before that, let me show you the seats. Seats look very comfortable and sporty. In fact, it says S here on the seats as well. Under thigh support, not an issue because I can simply open this, and then obviously these are the buttons for adjusting your seat, for lumbar, and you get a proper dead pedal as well. There's storage space here, and there's a high visibility jacket inside. That means it's quite deep. Yeah, it's actually very deep. My hand can actually comfortably go. Oh my goodness, this is like really deep. Well, that's what she said. This is to open the hood of the vehicle. These are the controls for the headlights as well as for the headlight washer. So this is actually for the headlight washer, and this is to change the height of the heads-up display. The heads-up display, Bang & Olufsen audio system, which is there in this car, both of them are there, along with parking assist. These are actually optional bits, I believe. So lovely treatment. I really like it. Let's do one thing. Let's get inside, which means that again I have to clamber inside, and yeah, there it shuts. And as soon as I shut it, this window also goes down. थोड़ी सी खुली रह गई थी, अब बंद हो गई. Let's do one thing. Turn on the air conditioning. It says 3-zone. First and foremost, I have to tell you that the AC controls are fantastic. Null dials have this click to it, very satisfying to operate. Lovely, and the display is inside, so I think this is very high quality stuff from Audi. Beautiful. It says Quattro, so that the co-passenger never panics and knows that this car will make it through a corner. And I just have to open this window because there's some mosquito which is roaming around. Okay, that person has left at the moment. Thank you, bye bye, don't come again. And the glove box is actually small in size, but I think there is a lot of space which has been occupied by this unit, which is probably, I'm not sure, it could be for a hard drive. I'm not really too sure about that. You can lock it, of course. Like I was telling you, this looks really very nice. continuous AC vent treatment also looks nice, but this is an afterthought for sure. This is a 10.1 inch unit, which seems like बाद में सोचा है, बाद में लगा दिया है. Same case in the Q5 as well. Okay, this is an auto dimming thing, of course, and there is a mirror here along with the light on the top. The light activates on its own on both the sides, of course. Now there are a lot of lights here, but you can simply touch them to activate, which is also a pretty cool thing. Beautiful to operate, and this is actually more lights as such. Now let's open the sunroof, and there, you know what, when you open the sunroof, this thing does not open. So for that you have to press a separate button as such, which is kind of disappointing, although this is electrically operated as well. So yeah, that's about it. That's the maximum it opens. So we're just going to close it for a moment. It takes its own sweet time to do that. You can see the seats are really very thick. So at the rear, there is no S badging. This S badging is only on the front. Rear passengers do not get that, unfortunately. Steering gets the flat bottom treatment with S written right there, and the center console is really nice. First and foremost, this can be pushed ahead. There's storage space below, and there's a USB-C charging socket along with a cigarette lighter. Meanwhile, there is a place here to keep the key of the vehicle, and there's physical control for the audio system as well as to turn off the system and to go to a forward or a previous track. In fact, let me just remove the key and see if it actually fits in there. Yeah, it does, like a proper place just to keep your key. That's kind of cool. Auto hold function, electric parking brake, S badging here next to the perforated leather gear lever, which looks nice as well. And then obviously there is where there was the MMI controller, which has been removed in this car. It now only resides on touchscreen. So here there's a cubby hole, which is kind of unfortunate because this is unnecessary. You can't keep a phone inside. I don't know for what it is. Maybe they should get the MMI controller back, because it's not so easy to operate the screen without that MMI controller. Now you get dual cup holders here, and there's a 12 volt charging socket along with a regular USB charging socket as well. The problem is that it doesn't get a wireless charger, although that seems very unnecessary, but still it doesn't get it. And here is the hazard light switch. Now in order to turn on the car, there is the button here which has red glowing around it. This is to turn off the screen, this is for parking sensors, this is to turn off traction control, this is to turn on and off the stop start system, and this is for the drive select, the drive modes of the vehicle. Now this screen is a 10.1 inch unit. It's actually slick enough. It's quite nice actually. I really like it. The only issue with the screen is that, okay, there's too much of sun and there's too much of reflection, and then it's a fingerprint magnet as well. Now it gets ambient light colors. So for that you have to get into settings, and then I actually get into display and brightness. Okay, this is actually for the heads up display. You can see there's the heads up display of the vehicle, which shows you the speed of the car, and then I can move the position of the heads up display like this. Yeah, I can just simply move it up and down. It's the easiest heads up display to operate because this is the switch with which I can operate and move it as I wish. So you can also get into Audi virtual cockpit, and there are multiple modes here as well for the virtual cockpit. Now you can see this is the one right now activated. I can get into S performance. It asked me to confirm this unnecessary, and there it's done. And then when I accelerate, I realize soft limiter just under 4000 RPM, and it's giving me eco tip: do not press accelerator while stationary. Thank you so much for teaching me how to drive the car. I never thought you should not press the accelerator while stationary. I thought you should only press the clutch, which is missing in this car at the moment because it's an automatic, of course. There's this dynamic one as well. I just switched to that. I'll do one thing now. I'll use all of this when driving the car. This one is not so easy to read for the speedometer. Here we are going to get out of this. There's car where actually the ambient light colors are there. So where is it? Lights and vision. Now the number of clicks I do, you just see. Okay, background lighting. Here I get into individual, click on that, then I click on surfaces, then I click on colors, and there are 30 colors here for the surfaces, and then you can decide if you want it for footwell as well, and then I can go into contours as well, and then again decide colors, and again there happen to be 30 colors for the same, but so many sub menus, it makes it so difficult to operate the same. And then you have some inbuilt colors like vision, solar, impulse, maritime, Caribbean, whatever. Now it is not as great as Mercedes 64 colors for the ambient lighting, but still I would say it's good enough. Let's get out of this. Let's get into reverse. This is the reverse parking camera of the vehicle. Front and rear parking sensors. Reverse camera obviously gets the adaptive guidelines, which is nice as well. And we are just going to close this for a moment. So it's actually an easy system to use, but you know what, I need that MMI controller. Please Audi, bring it back for sure. Let's listen to an audio right away. Audio quality is actually phenomenal. Yeah, that is Bang & Olufsen audio system is absolutely stellar in the way audio quality is there. Now these are controls for the audio system. This is for this particular screen, so you can get into view if you want to see a full map view. Right now it's not showing a full map view, it's showing me what is the boost levels like. The reason for this is because I'm in another mode for the same, so I'm going to get into this again. Display and brightness. Heads up display. Okay, I don't need to configure it, it's already configured. Let's get into Audi virtual cockpit. Here into sport. Oh God, why you keep asking me again and again? I've decided, I made up my mind, and then when you get into view now, so you know what, you can actually change all this. Here I am changing, and then I can obviously get into navigation. So it's a very nice system. It's actually updated as well and gives so much information. It's like an information overload. This is the lever for the cruise control. There's a button behind for God knows what, and this is obviously for the indicators and for the pass by as well. These are the controls for the wipers. The wipers work really well. See, plenty of spray on offer, and obviously if the headlights are on, then it's also going to spray the headlight washers, which is kind of cool. So I think the car is phenomenal in the way, attention to detail and overall quality is there. There's no denying that fact. Hard plastics are not there on the top as such, but lower down there are a lot of hard plastics in this vehicle, and there's some storage space here as well. But what really matters is how is this car to drive. So let's start driving right away. Okay, rev it. Sounds nice. I really like the sound of this car. I like the virtual cockpit, but again, Mercedes does it better, Audi does it better than BMW. Let me show you a couple of cool things. Just see how this is operated. This is so cool. You can just like glide your finger through, and this is amazing. Like, wow, the kind of attention to detail Audi has in certain places is absolutely phenomenal. Don't need to press it, just hover your finger over it. Fingers of truth are so happy with this, and then you can actually browse through multiple information by just pressing this button, which you can see. Yeah, that's easy, but then you can also browse up and down. So it's like an information overload for sure, and it's not even focusing right now because it doesn't want to. So there you can see there's so much info you can actually see. I love this Audi virtual cockpit. Very easy to operate, very easy to understand, and this like all the controls. I would never ever actually need to go to this screen because I don't even like this screen. Steering wheel obviously gets the adjustment both for reach as well as rig, but it's manually adjustable of course, and the steering is kind of on the lighter side as well. And there's this beautiful stitching here as well, along with the fact that there's perforation on the leather, which also looks nice. The only disappointment is that the horn is not easy to press. So it's nice though, but not the easiest to press. And then all this is a fingerprint magnet thanks to piano black finishing. But you know what, it's driver centric. That's why you have this sort of a ridge which is going upwards to tell the co-passenger boss you're not in this car, you're somewhere else. This is all bit around the driver of course. So let's drive. Few more discoveries before we start driving. When you get into car now, you can get into Audi Drive Select, and you can see how this car actually comes very nicely and sweetly. Obviously you can configure a lot of stuff there. And then there's efficiency assist, which actually gives you scoring depending on how you're driving. Yeah, I'm in school right now. And the rest of the bit like driving assist, basically driver assist does not have any ADAS systems as such, but it will give you speed warning, and then you can configure the speed warning. So yeah, you can turn it off or you can configure it all the way to 120. Sabse kam kitna hai? From 30 kilometers per hour speed warning. That is crazy. And then yeah, the usual menus. I love the way the click happens. It's very satisfying. And then there's parking aid, and then you can decide how you want the volume as well for the front and rear volume. And then I think the graphics are very nice and crisply done. In fact, when I turn off the car, look at this. Okay, when I turn off the car, it shows the Audi logo, and then it actually shows the Audi logo from a curtain, which is also kind of cool. And when I turn on the car, it does a full swipe up as well. Now, before I get out, I'm just going to open all the windows because I want to show you another feature. Now, all windows won't roll down automatically if the car is off. So I turn it on, and then I'm just going to roll down all the windows, because there's another thing which I discovered. It's kind of weird and awkward, but I'm just going to turn this off and get out at the moment. Yeah, this has a lot of things to play with. Specifically, the maps is actually quite nice. So I'm just clicking on it, hoping it will open completely. But no, I have not added a home address. I'm just clicking random buttons. It's showing me a lot of options as such, but I don't know. I have to search for something, then maybe it will go full screen. Fluid, definitely. Okay, let's get out. I'll show you those couple of other features which I discovered as well. First and foremost, it gets ISOFIX child seat mounts, which is kind of obvious, and it's very easy to adjust the headers. Just press this button and you can like look at the speed at which you can do this, and you can obviously recline the seats as well, 60-40 split, which is very easy to do because the seats are, although heavy, they're light to push down back. Now, one feature which is very awkward and I didn't expect this car to not have is that if I press all the buttons, like if I keep this button pressed, all the windows don't roll down. But if I keep the lock button pressed, the windows do roll back up. Roll down क्यों नहीं हो रही? Roll up तो हो रही है. Down भी होनी चाहिए ना? Logically. Anyways, I don't know. Logic is missing today, but who cares? Let's start driving. I love the color of this car. I love it. All right, we are all set to go, which means first and foremost we're going to turn off the air conditioning. I get into settings. Oh, car only turned off. We get into performance for the instrument cluster, which is very cool looking. Car turned off because obviously it's got automatic stop start system, and then it realized air conditioning is not working. Why do we need to be on? We turn on navigation just so that we can. We get into drive mode, and we get the drive select into dynamic mode as well. Now here I'm going to go left, which is manual on the gearbox. Actually, I just keep it in sport for the moment. We're going to turn off traction control as well. Traction control off. That's very fast. It doesn't waste any time whatsoever. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor. I had to actually lift off because there was a lot of gravel and all, and it had that tendency of moving out of line. Although this is a quattro system with absolutely brilliant, trust me, brilliant grip levels and traction at all given moments. Now this is a 3-liter V6 petrol engine. It's turbocharged, of course, and produces, yes, 354 horsepower. I was actually thinking for a minute, and that 354 horsepower comes in between 5,400 to 6,400 RPM. So the result is there's so much grunt in the mid-range, and the torque output of 500 Newton meters comes in at a rather low 1370 RPM and stays there till 4,500 RPM, giving it a very nice and wide torque band. And the result is an absolute kick-ass surge in performance. It really pulls very strongly. This engine has a beautiful mid-range. Also sounds quite sporty for what is not really a full-blown rather RS model. It's not an RS model, it's an S model. Still, it has good amount of grunt. The throttle response is so good. Now you get a little bit on the throttle. It lunges ahead very fast. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes 4.8 seconds, which is quite quick. It doesn't have launch control, but you can get that timing because obviously quattro traction is just amazing. It always has so much grip on offer, and then you can I love the way it gives that pushback on upshifts. Beautiful. The engine is fantabulous, really very nice, and the car also feels very light on its feet. It feels very agile. It doesn't feel hefty in any way whatsoever. It still weighs around 1730 kgs, and brakes are also stupendous on this car because the wheels are like, just the tires are so grippy here. And here we go. Red lines around 7,000 RPM, actually below 7,000 RPM, since around 6,800 RPM. And the result is that when it upshifts, now there's this kickback. It kind of bounces because there's so much grunt and a brilliant top end as well. So this engine is very refined, has a good low end, turbo lag is well contained, fantastic mid range, even more fantastic, got a fantabulous top end punch. What a freaking amazing engine. It really pulls. It puts a massive smile on your face. The level of performance is just mind-blowing, and there are 5 drive modes on offer. There is auto, there's comfort, there's efficiency, there's individual, and obviously there is dynamic. The dynamic gives you the full beans, which you are in right now. And you know what it alters? It actually alters 3 things. They say drivetrain, so I believe it's the engine and the gearbox combined together. The steering wheel, which kind of has more heft in dynamic mode, and even the sound. So there are 3 modes for all of them. So there's, I think, comfort, there are the comfort or balance, which is the mid one, okay, and then there's something which is, there's comfort, which is like the easygoing thing. There's balance, and there's sporty or dynamic. So I just show it to you because I keep getting confused all the time. So here, when we get into individual, if I press this button, let's configure this. Drive system, efficient, balance, dynamic. Steering, comfortable, balance, dynamic. And engine sound, subdued, automatic, and pronounced. So right now, obviously, we are in pronounced mode at the moment. I love the way the car comes. It's so good, and get on the throttle, it never hesitates. In fact, this car has a top speed of 250 kilometers per hour. Of course, limited there. It will easily reach there. Very aerodynamic, very smooth. The engine, the gearbox, everything works fantastically well. There are 3 modes for the gearbox as well. There's a drive mode, there's a sport mode on the lever, of course, and then you can slot it on the left like this to get into manual mode. But manual mode does not give you complete manual control of things. Unfortunately, I was like, okay, fine, let me hold on to a gear. Let me click on the pedals. Oh, look at the aggression with which it sounds and the way it shifts gears. Fantabulous, really very nice. It's a very comfort-oriented car. In spite of the low-profile tires, big wheels, it's still so good in terms of ride quality. And we are in a traffic jam, not an issue because you can't hear the engine. It's just so smooth. If I get into, let's just get into comfort mode for a moment. Comfort mode doesn't really change the way the car rides because adaptive dampers are actually optional. They are not standard equipment, and our car is not actually equipped with adaptive dampers either. So in comfort mode, you can barely hear the engine. It's so silent. I can hear the sound of the truck's gear shift. I can't hear this Audi. So smooth, really very nice. But you know, driving in comfort mode is not the smartest thing to do, but you still will get on the throttle and it still has that grunt in comfort mode too, yeah. It doesn't hesitate. This is a car which is fast. It's really fast. Okay, there's a stop-start system which I pressed by mistake. So in terms of fuel efficiency, it will return somewhere between 6 to 12 kilometers per liter, entirely depending on your driving style. And the best part is that it has a 58-liter fuel tank, which is not the best part. I was going to say something else, maybe, I don't know, I forgot. Okay, now this is a very fast shifting gearbox. It's very quick. It's not RS quick, but it's quick enough. It's an 8-speed torque converter unit, and you want to punch out of anywhere, no hesitation whatsoever, just goes like that. throttle response is absolutely fantabulous. Handling is also good. Body roll is very well contained. The only disappointment is the steering wheel. It's not very dynamic per se. It doesn't, how do I put it? I don't know how to put it, but it doesn't feel that fluid as such. We just changed the instrument cluster mode because we can. I'm just going to put it back. The only problem is, you don't want to change all this instrument cluster mode. You have to really get into a deep menu here. Okay, I got into the wrong menu. I got into languages here, display and brightness, and Audi virtual cockpit. There is this dynamic one. And it asked me, yes, change. Of course, I want you to change, sweetheart. So this is the other one, which is not the easiest to read. I love the way Mercedes does it. It's so much easier to do, and BMW ones are not even distinct. So let's not even talk about that. There you can see. That's really nice. Well done, Audi. I love it. Only thing is, give me a button which doesn't have to rely on me going through 10,000 sub-menus to actually configure this. That's not cool. That's really cumbersome to operate here. We're going to see the full map view. Maps also done very nice. This is an updated version of Audi's virtual cockpit. Fantabulous, very smooth, very nice. And yeah, brakes are really sure-footed on this car. So in terms of ride quality also, I think the ride is pretty awesome. Only thing is, because of the big wheels, you go over a bad bump like this, it kind of thuds through. But for the most part, no issue. Obviously, ground clearance is a little bit on the bad side because this car is a CBU, so it's not been lifted for India at all, which gives it a great stance as well. And you know those quad exhausts are not fake. They're doing the job because you can hear them. Now I'm just going to get into the regular one because I love this one. This is the best. This is like the standard normal regular one, which is such a free-driving engine. It just revs smoothly all the time. No hesitation in the power delivery at all. Manual mode engage, hazard light off, and we launch. Absolutely stunning the way this car accelerates, but there is a problem, and the problem is a big one. You know, I've been all praises for this S5. I think it's a fantastic car. You know, the S5 is actually the sportier version of the A5, and the A5 is the Sportback version of the A4. And we had the S4 long back before anybody even thought about it. Now, this car competes with the C43. I'm just going to keep the C43 aside for a moment and not even going to talk about it because I want to talk about the massive elephant in the room from Bavaria, or rather from Munich, which happens to be none other than the BMW M340i, and that is a big freaking problem. Now, thing is, Audi imports this car as a fully imported unit. Costs rupees 97 lakhs on road Mumbai. Meanwhile, the BMW actually costs 75.22 lakhs on road Mumbai. Yeah, the M340i is faster by 0.6 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour because it has 33 more horsepower, 387 horses actually, and it also has X drive, so both of them are, yeah, obviously all-wheel drive. Only thing is, this car now, when you try to push it really hard now, it has that tendency to understeer. So very Audi-like, very typical Audi-like, understeer near limit or even before the limit, and the steering not really feelsome or feedback rich. But the BMW is just like a bargain now. 22 lakhs cheaper because it's made, actually manufactured or assembled in India, rather assembled in India via the CKD route. And the BMW is actually the most powerful or the best performing or the fastest car to be made in India, the M340i, and you can't bargain with that fact that it is just a steal in terms of value for money. This one, not so much. You're paying 22 lakhs more for a car which is slower and a little dated as well because, yeah, things are looking a little old here. However, there's a good bit about getting a CBU model. You can customize the F out of it. Yeah, you can opt for a lot of things which will come from Audi's factory in the place which I can't even pronounce. I'm sorry about that actually. It's English start. So guys, this is my vlog of the Audi S5 Sportback. Fantastic, real fun, good with directional changes, good with body control, decent handling, not the best, good ride quality, practical enough, but just a bit too expensive. Might as well get the RS5 because an RS5 is an RS5 is an RS5 with obviously more performance, but then again, it's a V6. I kid you not, it actually feels like an electric car. It is not the V8, but then even Mercedes is dropping the V8, so times are not improving, even though the M3 and M4 are getting a 6-cylinder since donkey's years now. If you like this vlog, make sure to give the thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to this channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye bye, take care.